Well, they did.
Yeah.
So what I did is I went in, and I still thought it looked great. And April was with me, and she said, "Are you going to tell him about the thing?" And I said, "What thing?" Acting like I didn't know. And she's like, "Can you take his the dead ends off his beard?" My barber looked at her and goes, "Yeah." And he literally, but he took the comb and just went to the edges and cut them off.
Yeah.
And he did that
He literally did it like he was doing a haircut. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking actually when I was really starting to get into the swing of looking for new jobs and all of that, I actually considered asking you the address and going to your barber. It's like, "Hey, can you make this look professional?"
It's right. It's literally right on your way here.
Oh, if I take Saginaw up?
Yeah. They have that giant mural on the side.
Yeah, I thought I remembered the building, but not like close enough. I don't want to go randomly walking into some place.
It's right. It's across.
Find out it's an Asian massage.
It's kind of across the street from You won't miss it.
Okay.
There's like a light in a little private road going from one side to the other, and you'll literally see a giant mural.
Okay.
And it's of a barber, because they just did this mural. It looks awesome. It's of a guy sitting in a chair with the whole thing over him and a barber in the back, and it says Fenner's Barbershop. It's literally right there.
Okay, yeah.
It's the road right. It's the last light right before you hit Bristol.
Yeah. Well, it was one of those things. I was thinking about it, and I kind of halfway decided against it, but it's one of those like
they're great guys. They're
all
great guys.
Yeah, I know. Like I remember one time you dragged me along while you were getting a haircut, and I'm just standing there like, well, what do I do now? Like, I'm stranded. It's not like I can walk home.
Right. No, but that's one of the reasons that I ended up, and it was actually a funny story. My mom forced me to go there once. I had a wedding that I was in, and I didn't have time to go to the barber because it was kind of a salon that my grandma was taking me to. It had a guy.
Yeah.
It was a. Well, you've been there.
Yeah, I've been there.
Kim and Maggie. So,
yeah, they did real good work.
Oh yeah, they do awesome work. So I was going there for the longest time, and then my mom dragged me to this place, and I went kicking, screaming. I'm like, no, this is not where I get my haircut, blah, blah, blah. And because me and change, it just doesn't happen.
It's weird, because you, like, have these religious places where you do these things, and me, I think recently has been the only time that I've ever really gone to the same, haircut place twice in a row, and I've been there a few times now, simply because it's in the same plaza as where I work, so we get a discount there.
Oh, April went there and got a haircut one.
Yeah, I go to the Grandins in the mall, and it's like I get 10% off my haircut, which, I mean, it's a men's haircut. It's cheap anyway.
How much do you pay?
All told, I end up paying like $11 for a haircut.
It's about that. It's like between, I think it's like
that, and it's convenient.
I think it's 13 at Fenner. I think it was 12 when you're under 18. Goes up to 13 when you're an adult.
The main thing would be I would want to go to a place like an old school barber like that.
Oh yeah.
Because it's a bunch of guys, because they know how to handle the facial hair.
Oh yeah.
I have had no complaints about that Grandins. Especially the last time I went there, it's just like, hey, I don't know what I want. Just this is what I'm looking for. I need something professional. And I don't personally know what looks good. Can you hook me up? And she's just like, oh, yeah, no problem. And it was great. There was no problems. And I've been to her a few times. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but
it was funny. My friend Robert, actually, he was talking about going because he went and got a haircut. And I said, oh, where do you get your haircuts at? Because it's, a good conversational piece.
Not really.
No. What had happened is he wanted to tell me because he's like, you will never believe what the lady that cut my hair did, and I'm like, uh-oh. So and this goes back to like the manly talk, but he's like, so I went to hey,
I've heard of worse things.
He's like, I go to
going along with a haircut.
He's like, I go to Great Clips. Yeah. I'm like, okay, and he said I go to the one by my house, and I went there, and they don't usually touch my beard. I tell them no. Because he's like, I trim it myself and whatever. So he went there, and there's a new lady, and she's like, hey, do you want me to trim up your beard? He said, no, don't touch it, I just trimmed it. It looks good.
Mm-hmm.
So she gives him a haircut. When she gets done, she starts to, like, as she's doing it, like, she almost gets done, and she starts moving down the sideburns. He's like, wait, what are you doing? She's like, don't worry, like, I'm not gonna charge you for this. Started trimming his beard. He's like, what are you doing? And like half trimmed it. And then her boss walked out and she stopped. And so he's like, then I had to go home and like fix it. So his beard was shorter than normal because he had to go home and fix the other half.
Oh God.
But like, yeah, I don't know. There's some places that are really good. Like April went to that place and was really happy with it.
Yeah, and a lot of it comes down to who's doing it, you know. Because I've been to some places where, you know, you get a really great haircut one time and you go the next time and it's just like...
Well, April, there's an older gentleman at the barbershop that I go to.
Yeah.
And April doesn't like when he... Because I don't care. To me, it's hair is hair. And most of the time, anyway, I wear a hat, except for when I'm working.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not that big of a deal to me. You know, I just want it out of my face. And she doesn't like because I guess the back doesn't look right. I'm like,
I've run into that a few times.
I'm like, I don't care. You know, it's not that big of a deal to me, but it bugs the crap out of April. And I'm like, I go to a place where you just go in, whoever's open, you go to. Like, whoever opens up first, that's who you go to.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I could sit there and go,
I want this guy.
I want this guy, but I know them all. They're all nice guys. And honestly, it kind of comes down to I don't want to hurt their feelings. And if I'm in a hurry, it's just kind of I sit down in whatever chair will get me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the guy that I like to go to, depending on the day, if I go on the right day, it'll usually be him and then the owner. And either one of them, April doesn't care. It's just the older gentleman that... Anyway, so back to finish up the story real quick. Back to the whole... My mom dragged me to this place, and they sat me down in the chair, and it was the owner. It was, well, technically at that point it was the owner's son, because I think his father hadn't died yet, but his father didn't work there anymore.
Wow, that's a little callous way of putting it, but accurate, not gonna lie.
Well, no, it was like he...
Like, you ever heard the term past? Like, the only way you'd say it was like, yeah, he hadn't bought the farm yet, you know, kicked the bucket, croaked, keeled over.
No. Okay, he hadn't passed away yet. And, because I think he did that, like, that happened in, like, the last year or two.
Mm-hmm.
Because they did a whole revamp of the barbershop, and I remember, like, I was in on a conversation when he was talking, like, to some of the other barbers and some of the guys in the shop about changing the name, because they just redid the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And, I went in and he had, like, a picture up on the wall of his dad. And, you know, it said from this year to this year, and in memory of, you know. And so I just figured his dad had passed away, you know, from the information I was given. And he was talking to me, he's like, you know, technically I should probably change it back to just Fenner's Barbershop again. Mm-hmm. You know, not Fenner and Son. And he wasn't sure if he was going to do that, but he did, because he got all, like, they got all new shirts and everything, and they got the cool new logo on them.
Yeah.
And had, like, a new thing on the door that says Fenner's Barbershop and everything. So, anyway, so my mom dragged me to this place, and the owner was the one that gave me the haircut. I didn't mind it. I liked it when I got done. And I realized that's where my grandfather went. My mom's father went when he got his haircuts.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a gentleman that got a haircut kind of like my grandpa used to have.
Yeah. So
I'm like, well, I guess this place isn't so bad. So then I've been going there ever since, because it's kind of, you know, my grandpa went there, I'm going there. They're all nice guys. And it's more about like a barber, like you said, it's a barbershop atmosphere. You walk in, and
it's a barbershop versus a salon.
Right. And you go in, and I don't know, I feel like at a lot of salons, you go in and you'll sit there and talk to the person that's doing your hair, but there's not really like it's kind of like you're facing the mirror the whole time.
Yeah, and sometimes it feels a little too much like you're the only guy there and you're kind of intruding, and it's just like...
Versus... Do
you want shampoo, a perm? Do you need a dye job? And it's just like...
I just want a haircut.
I want a haircut.
No, but you
and oh God forbid you ask for a crew cut, because they just look at you like, really? You're wasting my time with this?
Well, and you walk in here, and when they start off cutting your hair, you're facing everyone else. So there's like 2 chairs on one wall and 1 chair on the other, and they're all facing kind of towards the seating area. So it's like one giant conversation. Your barber's talking to you, and then, you know, the other barber...
Have you ever seen the barbershop movies?
Pretty much.
Yeah. That's
so,
how
like,
a barbershop is.
Right.
Why do you think they called it barbershop?
I know, but I'm just saying.
Come on, man. To give people an idea, just give it a reference. Like, especially something everybody knows. Everybody has seen one of the Barbershop movies. Like,
anyway,
period.
So, well, I haven't seen the Barbershop movies. I've seen clips and...
Okay, I know what we're doing after this.
I've got a lot to do after this.
You do?
Do you have the Barbershop movies?
I'm sure Netflix does.
No, they don't. Netflix doesn't have crap.
What?
I can't find anything on Netflix to watch anymore. Okay, don't get me wrong. I still need to watch Doctor Strange, which is on my list, and I need to watch Pete's Dragon, which is on my list, and there's a few others, but I can't think of another series to watch. I've watched all the series that sounded good to me. So anyway, so back to the story. So it's like one giant conversation. So when you walk in, you're instantly a part of this conversation. It doesn't matter, and in this one, it doesn't matter whether you're boy, girl, black, white, African, or I was thinking Chinese. It doesn't matter. You just, Asian,
Orient. I don't know what the PC term is anymore. Not that it matters. We get your point.
Anyway, so that's one of the reasons that I like it. Anyway, so that's where I go. But yeah, no. So they to the main story. But that's how they did my beard, and so that's how I've been doing. Is I'll just take it to the edges, trim the edges off.
Yeah.
And then comb it down.
Though, admittedly, that's an easier way to do it when you're doing it to somebody else than doing it for yourself.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder. But like I said, I've come to the revelation recently not to do the bottom because I tend to cut too much off, and then it doesn't grow down.
Angle it down.
Yeah.
Angle it down. Because the way you got pretty much a bush, like, right on the bottom.
Anyway, I'll figure it out one day. I'll work on it.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to.
It's a work in progress.
A little more.
Once I get the Duck Dynasty beard, then I'll call it good. That'll happen one day. So it is not only just Anthony's birthday, which happy birthday, by the way, again for the second time today.
Liar.
It is also, and Anthony has a lot to say about it. It is also September 11th, which it was his birthday first. I've heard the whole spiel.
Hey, man, I haven't put you through that spiel. Like, I don't know who you're thinking of.
No, yes, you have. Because you told me the story about you were going to have a party on that day, and nobody showed up to your birthday party.
No, that was at school. That was just one of those funny things, because my teacher at the time, amongst other things, like, because, my mom brought cupcakes and all that. I mean, it was my 8th birthday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, brought it to school, and I'm like, yeah. And it's like all that kind of stuff's saved for the end of the day. Obviously, at the, beginning of the day, none of us had a clue. Nobody did.
Right.
Obviously. But, we were young enough. I heard some of the people that were, like, in, middle school, the high school, like, everything just stopped, and the TVs went on, and everybody just watched and listened. But they kept it from us. They didn't tell us squat. Only later did I find out that why my teacher was bawling and going so nuts wasn't just, patriotic sadness. Her brother was in the North Tower.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, she got replaced about halfway through the day, and
hold on.
Parents kept coming in and pulling their kids out of school. By the end of the day, like, when the cupcakes were supposed to be there, one, they'd have been forgotten entirely.
Yeah.
They just went home with me again.
Right.
And two, I was one of, like, 3 kids left in the class. The teacher was completely different, and they're shaking and, like, freaking out. And we're all just going, like, oh, you know what? No, what it was they had actually combined classes. Because it was actually, there was, like, 3 or 4 of us, and it was a group of, like, 3 or 4 different classes.
Right.
And that was just the remainder, and there was only the one teacher left. Like, everybody else is, go do it. And that teacher was shaken. But it was just one of those that's just like, oh my god. And it's like, it's always lovely when you're getting in the car to go home, and the first thing you hear from your mom is, something terrible has happened.
Well, then you start thinking, like, Is Dad okay?
Well, my immediate thought was, oh my God, is my dad getting redeployed?
Right.